Well, many know that Lincoln University is, of course, an iconic institution for our primary sector. However, Lincoln has been going through a wee bit of a tough time in the last few years. A new report out says that Lincoln University is in a delicate state and needs significant course cuts, more Māori and Pacific students and more donations. Chancellor Steve Smith joins us now from Adelaide to discuss what the future holds for Lincoln. Thanks for joining us, Steve. Can you talk us all through this latest report? Who carried it out and why was it initiated?
Yeah, so this was a report that was driven by a council initiative to look at the real opportunity for Lincoln in the future. As you mentioned, we've been through a tough few years, but in the last couple of years, we've managed to get the university into a really stable state financially and organisationally. So we were ready to look forward and just to see what the future looked like. So we decided to do that by getting an independent group of people together that we really respected, that would give us a very good appreciation of what that might be. That was led by Sir Martin Weavers and with some fantastic people on it. So that was the background to the reason for the report. It was driven by the council, and we were delighted to receive it at the end of October.
Yes, you say last year that Lincoln hadn't generated an operating surplus since 2007, and that the best option at the time was to integrate with another university. Is this still on the cards?
Well, that was a report done by Ernst & Young in the middle of 2016, so almost 18 months ago now. In 2016, we did put our first operating surplus into play, first time for 10 years, which was great. And I'd have to say the 2017 result is going to be exceptional for us. So that's what gives us confidence moving forward, really.
Okay, great. So we're moving away from that delicate state slightly. And so what does this report recommend in terms of getting away from a standalone university and making the most of the ag research in the Lincoln hubs?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, there has been some suggestion that Lincoln University should merge with another university. The great confirmation from the Transformation Board is that the university should stay in its specialised state as a university and focusing on anything to do with the land, the food and the ecosystems that develop around that. So, but to make most of the Lincoln Hub, which is this collection of the Crown Research Institutes and with the university as the academic heart of that. So we're going to retain our independence as a university, which I think is a great statement for the future of this 140-year-old institution. But we need to make the most of all our partners around the hub. So, that's a good, strong direction for us.
What's a sort of example of how that integration could look like and work?
Well, it's about collaboration. One of the things that you need to do as a small institution is become a great collaborator. And, I mean, my whole business career has been around that. And to make the most of these, 700-odd scientists that sit around the Lincoln Hub that are all specialising in things to do with the land. So it's about forming collaborations with those people that can help us teach great courses and create great research for the benefit of New Zealand.
And it makes it very relevant because the students can learn directly from things that are happening right now.
Yeah, well, Lincoln University has always had a strong practical component to all of the degrees that have been offered. So by forming these connections, we've already got great connections with these guys, but making them better and stronger means that the students are going to have access to a whole lot of world-leading researchers and academics within one precinct. So, our job now is to elevate that relationship so the students get, a really high-caliber education in this area of land, food and ecosystems that can really give them great opportunities for employment, but also add real value for New Zealand.
Would this be world-class or is there, world-leading, is there examples of this working similar around the world?
I mean, one of the great institutions where the link between research and academia was made about 10 or 12 years ago was Wageningen Agricultural University in the Netherlands. And that has now become the number one agricultural university in the world. And in the Transformation Board, we managed to get their former president of Wageningen to come out to New Zealand and to Lincoln and to give us some real advice on what it might be, what it might look like moving forward. So ULT was very useful, and I think it's a fantastic model for us to look at as we look for the future.
Steve, looking at some of the new degrees, could you give our listeners a bit of an overview of some of the new degrees that have been created as technology and innovation has changed around, including tech and food marketing and things like that? So to inspire, potential listeners to look down this path.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that we need to do to attract more people to this sector is to change the conversation a little bit away from calling our sector the primary sector to calling us the agri-food sector, because that's what we're really doing, is we're using the land to produce food and fibre for us to use and experience. So, one of the courses that was put into play at Lincoln University 3 or 4 years ago was our Bachelor's in Agribusiness and Food Marketing, which has become one of our very most popular degrees very quickly. The first graduates for that program have only just started coming out, and I think that's a sign for the future, where we're actually linking very much into this link between the land and the products we make from it and the market that we access, because we need to be we're really good at producing stuff in this country. I think what we can be a lot better at is marketing and telling that story to the rest of the world. So the specialisation of marketing becomes even more important.
But Steve, as some listeners might say, someone's still got to dag the lambs, and you've quit Telford. What was that all about?
Well, the Telford relationship started in 2011, and it didn't really work within the Lincoln University cohort of how the university works. So what we decided to do is that it is better suited for Telford to sit alongside the Taratahi Agricultural Training Centre, who specialise in vocational training for the agricultural community. So that transfer's happened. We were at Telford last week for the graduation, and there is a fantastic vibe in the town of Balclutha now that Telford has got a strong future in front of us, and we'll support that as much as we can. So, the important thing here is we recognise that vocational training in agriculture is really important, and we've handed it on to an institute that specialises in that.
My sister is going into her second year at Lincoln University, Steve. Now, I would believe that there's a strong cultural element to Lincoln University that attracts a lot. That's an important thing to maintain.
Oh, it's absolutely important. I mean, one of the things that's the beauty of a relatively small university on a campus that we have, this spectacular campus, is that you form very close relationships with your fellow students. I still mates with my cohort that were there in 1983, a long time ago. And it continues today, and we see that amongst the students. And I think the wonderful thing now about Lincoln University is you still have a very strong New Zealand rural style and culture to the whole place, but there's more interest from urban New Zealand as well. The urban New Zealand people are interested in some of the more the tourism management work that we do, and the food marketing and agri-commerce type stuff. So it's a fantastic culture in the place, and one founded on the principles of rural New Zealand, which is really important, but got this really nice little urban vibe now. So it's a really important part of the university. I hope your sister has that feeling about it.
Radio Live Rural Exchange.